So today we will try to solve this problem of LeetCode, which is problem 1672, Richest Customer Wealth. If you haven't seen my previous video, go and see my previous video where I've solved the challenges before this. So we'll try to solve this challenge in JavaScript. And so what we have to do is basically we have to find, and so basically it has an account ij is the amount of money that ith customer has in the jth bank account. Return the wealth that has the richest customer. Okay, a customer wealth is the amount of money that they have in all their bank account. The richest customer is the customer that has the maximum wealth. Okay, so 1 2 3 3 2 1, answer is 6. This one is 6, this one is 6, equal, so each of them return 6, not the one. Okay, so see this one, so it's 157335, so output is 10. Okay, so this one is 6, 10 and 8. So yeah, so basically we want to return the array, inner array with the largest sum, right? So if this is 10, then we want this one as the answer and we just want to return it. So we will have to run two loops for sure here. So let's try to tackle this problem. So first what we need is, so we will need to create a variable, right? So we'll create a variable, let's say called store variable, to store the value. So if I create a store variable and set it to 0, that would be first thing I'll do. Second thing I'll do is I'll run a for loop. So run a for loop. So we'll just write down each step. So if you write down how you want to solve the problem, your 50% of the problem is already solved. Then you just need to implement the code logic, like in terms of programming, and then you can do it. So see, so we're gonna run a for loop here, and we're gonna run it on accounts.length, right? Like on accounts basically. So we can get access to all these inner arrays, these ones. I'll just put it here. Yeah, so this one, right? So you want to get access to this, and answer would be 10. Okay, so we'll get to this. So now we'll have access to this one. Now what we want, so now we want to run again a for loop, right? And we want, so for that we will need to create one more variable which will store all the sum. So we'll call it sum and we'll put it 0. Then we'll need to run a loop again on the value we stored, right, from accounts of I, that particular element. So we'll run a for loop again. We'll run a for loop, and we will add that sum which is 0, and always the value which we'll get from accounts at I, right, that ith value every time, like sub inner array, this array we'll try to add it, right? And then at the end we will need to know that which array is maximum. So for that we can use a method in array, use a method in JavaScript to find max num. Yeah, okay, so let's try to do this. Okay, so as we said, let's create a variable called store. So what it's gonna store max value. Just try to see how we're gonna solve this very easily, and I'll explain you everything. So variable store max value equals 0. Now I'll try to create a for loop. So for variable I equals 0, I should be less than accounts dot length I plus plus, right? Now what we want is basically I'll create a variable inner array. So the element which we're gonna get hold of using this for loop will be an inner array, right? You see here 1,5, this one, 1,5, this one. So it's really easy to see how we're gonna do it. So we wanna get accounts at I. See, we got it, we got access to this, easy. Now what we want to do, now we want to create a new variable. So we will, remember we said we're gonna create a variable sum which will be equals to 0, right? So we created a variable sum which is equal to 0. So inside this for loop currently we have an inner array. So in this example it is 1,5. So we want to iterate over this one. So what we do, we create one more for loop. We create for variable j equals 0, j should be less than, so we already store this thing inside this inner array, so j should be less than inner array dot length easy and j plus plus, right? Cool. Now what we can do, so now I want to store this value inside this sum, so sum equals to sum plus inner array at j, yeah, cool. I think I'm doing it correct. Yeah, so we've got this. Now what I want, every time I run this for loop inside this, so I got, for this instance, let's say I got 6 answer. What I want to use this sum and store it inside the store max value. So what I'll do, I'll use the method in JavaScript. So what I'll do, I'll use the store max value. So I want to every time update my max value, right? So I'll repeat this whole process every time and see what my max value is. So for that I'll use the method math.max. So math.max, and you just write both the values through what you want to check every time. So one is the one we have, which is store max value, which is 0 in the beginning. This is the value which we're going to return at the end, and the value which get updates every time, which is sum, right? And so this method will return the maximum value. So currently the maximum value in this case will be 1,5 sum, which will be 6, because this is 0, this is 6, so it's 6. It will return 6 as the value and it will give it to this variable again. So this will be 6. Second time sum will be 10, so this will be 6, this will be 10, and okay, it will say, okay, which one is maximum? Okay, this one is maximum sum. Then it will give this value to store max val. What we'll do, we'll just return it, store max value, right? So if you do this, then that's all. So if you understand whatever I said, yeah. So now if you try to run it, it should work. See, we got runtime of 402 ms, and if you try to submit it, it should pass all the test cases as well. Yeah, it's just 56 ms and faster than 97% of the online solution. So really good way to solve the problem, and yeah, really good solution. And if you didn't understand anything in this video, because this challenge could be a little bit hard because you had to use 2 for loops, so comment down and maybe I can come up with another technique through which you can understand. But yeah, hope this helps. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe my channel and comment, like,